that one of the mistakes that I did, I started looking into the NOC categories when I was trying to apply for PR.
Mm-hmm.
I did not check it beforehand. If people start checking NOC categories beforehand,
Hi Harshit, thank you so much for joining in. Welcome to my channel. Before we jump into the questions that I have for you, if you can quickly introduce yourself to our viewer.
absolutely, Sagar. First of all, thank you so much for getting me on this platform onto your YouTube channel. So, guys, for the interest of people who are viewing this video, I came here as an international student, and it is something that I'm really proud of. I came to Canada almost 5 years back. Really did not know where to stay in this country. Did not have a roof to stay. Did not know what to eat. Ended up eating a salad and coke and still feeling bad about it because it was so expensive, right? Because I was converting every single dollar into Indian rupees and thinking that how much it would be in India and why should I be in India. So that's how my journey began. And in fact, trust me, just like any other international student, I had my own set of struggles. There were a lot of naysayers actually, than more than motivators, which I felt like it will be other way around. A lot of people who came before me were thinking that they knew it all, and they were just mentioning and talking about things that did not make sense, right? So that's how my journey started. But eventually after that, I realized one thing, that hey, the more people I talk to, the more people I connect with, the more broader vision that you get in this country, because it's not just about one person talking to you or anything like that. It's the entire experience that other people are also bringing onto the table, right? So it's been an amazing journey, to be honest, Sagar. For even a second, I did not feel like I took a wrong decision coming to this country, or I should have chose US or Australia or any other country, because it is a land of opportunity, and everybody knows the country's name and how well it is for people. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey so far.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Harshit. And definitely we can all relate to that. We've been the same boat. Going forward, Harshit. So my first question for you is: so what are the some challenges that one can face while applying for the PR, especially moving to Canada after 12, like yourself? Or if I have to put it in a way, like what are some of the roadblocks that one can expect while applying for the PR?
I would say, I mean, see, I'm not a subject matter expert in this, Sagar, but what I realize, and what a lot of international students are facing, with whomever I'm talking to, is that they have a self obligation set to themselves, saying that, hey, you know what, no matter what happens, if I've done my 12th grade, I cannot get PR without either getting sponsorship from a restaurant or something, or either me ending up paying to a lawyer for running the payrolls. Oops, I stepped on somebody's toes. But to be very honest, there are opportunities out there, and there are ways that you can still get to come to this country and be a part of the permanent, as a permanent resident. Everybody, no matter how qualified you are, no matter where you are right now, you always will feel to get that permanent residency tag, right? And now with the methods and processes become so easier, thanks to COVID. There are some benefits that it has come up with as well. So it is really awesome that that's one of the barriers, I would say, that people have, Sagar. The another thing that people face is that they don't exactly know.
Mm-hmm.
What do I mean by that? The internet is there. There is a lot of information, and that is actually a bad thing, because when you have a lot of information, your mind gets confused.
Right.
Because if you just put PR in Canada, there are going to be 10 negative articles and there are going to be two positive articles. There are going to be people who are just trying to sell their service, charging hectic fees. People don't even know that to file a PR, there is a very nominal fee. Government of Canada doesn't ask for thousands and thousands of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the lawyers' fees and everything is also mentioned on the websites. So people are very less aware of it. And last but not the least, people are like, when I was new on work permit, I was so much in hurry to get my permanent residency, that I was willing to move to any province that you'll tell me that that will give me permanent residency. But the catch is, it took you so long to come to that particular place wherever you are. In my case, it was Toronto, and then I had to figure out how the culture is, how the people interact here with, where is the station, where should I get the bus from, all these small things, and then I'm going to a new province and then figuring out later. And that's what I was like. It was a little bit risky, but I took it by head on, saying that, hey, you know what? No matter what, I have 3 years in my work permit. I'm not in a rush. I'll see how what I can do in the first couple of years. Things were not in my favor. That's why I moved to Winnipeg, right? And the reason I chose Winnipeg, again, we'll talk further. But I hope that I answered that question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. I really like the part where you mentioned there's a lot of information, but it can be daunting as well sometimes, right? But how about when it comes to the work experience or the education in context with the permanent residency if you apply after 12, like again yourself?
Yeah, so I would say that one of the mistakes that I did, I started looking into the NOC categories when I was trying to apply for PR.
Hmm.
I did not check it beforehand. If people start checking NOC categories beforehand, they will not move from supply chain to IT or some other field just to get PR. Because every single field, if I talk about right now, especially the list that we have on the website, is little bit outdated. I mean, it needs a lot of improvement. There are a lot of analyst positions, there are a lot of specialist positions, especially with the business requirements and everything changing. It is very difficult for one to classify or get the same opportunity or the same classification there. But government is helping you there. It's not saying that, hey, you know what, if you don't work as a security supervisor, you're not going to get it. No, it's not like that. You don't have to become a security guard even though you are a professional in IT, right? So that's one of the things that I would say that matters. So doing your research as in not just googling about it, but actually going to credible websites. I will not go to Reddit or any other Quora or anywhere to get opinions. Or trust me, no Facebook group will give you any kind of clarity on that. It is the website, the Canada website, or you talk to a lawyer who is experienced in it, who has the subject matter expertise in it. So that's one of the suggestions that I would give, Sagar.
Perfect, perfect. And also, if you can just just an overview of the process, including the cost, the time it took for you, just sharing your own experience, if you can shed some light on that as well.
Absolutely. The number one goal of anybody is to get into express entry, right?
Hmm.
We all come here and we know express entry is as the word goes, express entry. You get points for your education, for your IELTS and all of it. One thing that also I would recommend to people to start doing with it, it might put them little bit away from the series and a lot of other things that they watch in their free time, is to put it into developing themselves, so that later on when they give IELTS, they're not thinking about, they're not Googling about, hey, how to crack IELTS 8 bands. I personally give you my example. I started reading a lot of books,
Hmm.
and in the span of 1 year, when I was ready, I took IELTS exam 1 week before, and I got very good bands. I really got. I was about to get 777 8 just because of my writing. I got 6.5, but everything else was really nice. And trust me, I did not do any kind of boot camp or anything. I did not study 10 hours in a day.
Hmm.
I just put 1 to 2 hours of focus effort every single day that particular week, and my tail was on fire because I had put $200 to get that exam. So when you have the belief and the faith in it, things will start to happen. So that's one thing. No matter what you're looking for, you have the belief and you have the direction, everything will be clear to you.
And how about the cost? If you still remember how much.
So for express replacement, sorry, not express replacement, express entry, the cost actually is, I believe, if you're applying for an extended work permit, which right now many of them are applying for 18 months and all of that, whoever was expiring until the month of July, they have to pay around $300 to $400. I don't exactly know the rough amount, but including taxes, that's for the extension. For your PR, it is around $1,200 that is there. Police clearance doesn't really cost you anything. There is a minimal cost for it as well. Other than that, medical and all of it, it depends what kind of medical that you require. If you have some critical issues or you have hereditary diabetes and all of it, then you might need to do more tests, and that the cost varies. But other than that, it will be around $100 to $200. So approximately the entire cost that you're looking for, and one might also start saving for it, is around $3,000 to $4,000 to be on a safer side. When I'm saying to be on a safer side, suppose you are in a person like in my shoes, I had to go through a lawyer because I had very minimal time. I did not wanted to, invest that same time to do the research and then waste my time there. That's why I choose an expert. As I mentioned earlier, you do your own research if you have time. When I mean by credible websites, or you go to professionals who are doing it for a living, not just for a hobby.
Right.
There are people out there who are just trying to help and all of it. I agree, but I'm a little bit skeptical with them because they don't have a vested interest in you for that process. They're not charging any fees and they're doing it for free. So that's something that I would not recommend. But if you're really looking for something, go for a lawyer. There are lawyers out there who will take $1,500 to $2,000. If they're looking for any reference, I can do that. I help a lot of international students to get referrals for such things as well, so that they can save money, and people are out there who are really willing to help, right? So you're anywhere looking around $3,500 to $4,000 that you're looking to save for the particular process. So not only part-time job, but people who are studying here will also get opportunities in internship, because there are like if you come to Toronto, there are a lot of colleges out there, so the competition is more. In Winnipeg, there are few of them, but they are very big.